Hi, I'm Amy Mahaly from Be Well Clinic, and today I wanted to sit down and talk a little bit about acidity and the immune system. In order to do this, we're also going to go a little more broad about different acidity discussions and research that's been going on, but the goal of this video is to help you understand why acidity helps your immune system work better. What this means in practicality is that if you are doing all the right things for supporting someone in illness, you're doing supplements, you're doing Epsom salt baths, but things just don't seem to be connecting. You seem to not be winning or they're not clicking and going forward and being as helpful as you've seen them be before in the past. This can be because your body is not acidic enough. The same thing applies to allergies. Allergies is an immune function. So if your immune system is not acidic enough, we actually can do all the right things of enough vitamin C and probiotics, but have no effect. And as soon as you add that acidity in, you have a great effect and everything you're doing suddenly starts to work. This is a really cool and helpful principle, but it's also one that's important to know because sometimes you are doing all the right things except the acidity part and it doesn't work hardly at all. And that can be really frustrating and can lead to longer illnesses and more suffering with allergies. So let's talk about ways that you can acidify your body. One of the best ways to acidify your body is to do apple cider vinegar. Internal especially. You're going to get some benefit from an apple cider vinegar detox bath, but really we're talking about doing an internal apple cider vinegar shot, diluted, or something like lime or lemon juice, freshly squeezed. These are going to give you some acidity. The other way that's really helpful for balancing the acidity in our body is our mineral balance. This is doing salt, but specifically salt that is the desirous salt to you, right? We talk about salt licks where you try different varieties of salt. Whichever one tastes the best, that's the one to do. But it also expands to things like magnesium, calcium, potassium, phosphorus. These are really well obtained to our body through juicing, so doing some fresh pressed juicing. Meat stock and bone broth will also have a lot of minerals. Some of those minerals are categorized as alkaline ash minerals, and some of them are categorized as acid or acidic ash minerals. This has to do with the base components when they're reduced, but it tells you all you need to know in that name. Some minerals make us alkaline and some minerals make us acidic. And these, as much as our oxygen and carbon dioxide balance the pH of our blood and of our body. So if you are tasting a salt that tastes amazing, just trust your body's chemistry. It's telling you what it needs to eat. If there's something that you don't want, then try to change it, maybe add a different salt or do some fresh pressed juicing. Try to figure out a way to get the right minerals in and notice your breathing, right? Slow your breathing down whenever possible and acidify with those extra things like lemon, lime, apple cider vinegar. Doing that is going to be really helpful and you'll know you get to that spot, the sweet spot of acidity, because you will start feeling better. Those things that you're doing will start working all of a sudden. So acidifying the body is really a helpful and good concept. It does get really complicated. And again, when I have the ability to have a chart talking about the acid and base balance and how it ties into the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system and your oxygenation and your breathing, it's so cool how connected they are. I'll let you know, but I'm just forming that right now. The other thing I want to address, because there's a lot of information about alkaline water, for example, and how healthy it is. Let's just run through a few realities of our body. Number one, the main reason why we have all been taught that alkaline is more healthy, that's like been promoted in the natural health world for a few years now at least. Most of that is based on a study called the China study, which was a study about healthy food. And these people that were eating high meat levels, we'll come back to my quotation marks in a second, high meat levels, which turned them more acidic, also had a higher cancer risk. So there's so many things about why we, quote, should be eating vegetable and plant matter more than meat, why meat is dangerous, why red meat is dangerous. There's so many lies that came out of this study. Two things that are important to know. One, the meat that people ate was not controlled, meaning it was mostly processed meat. It was not required to be organic or grass-fed or anything like that. So when you look at the actual dietary intake, most of the people who ate heavy meat diets actually ate a very heavy processed meat or a CAFO farmed meat, which I would also say leads to poor health outcomes. I don't disagree with that. The problem is that we correlated that to any meat, especially red meat, is definitely bad, and that being alkaline is better than being acidic. So it's just good to know where that came from, and it is not an accurate study to base those decisions on. What we see in reality is the immune system works better when it's acidic, which means it can kill and identify cancer cells better when it's acidic because it's working better. So the reality of the physiology of our body is in sharp contrast with that study, which is why I'm very comfortable saying I don't agree with that. Now, can we be too acidic? Yes. Should we be too acidic? No. You don't want to be in a highly acidic place, but we want balance. The other thing that I want to bring up is that the acidity in our body depends on the location. Our skin has a 3 to 4 pH acidic environment that gives us a acidic barrier protecting us from outside things coming on and into our bodies. Your stomach acid should be a pH of 1 to 2 to be able to properly digest your food. As food travels through your digestive system, even the small intestines, there is acidity changes that are needed and necessary for proper digestion of the food in those various places. In general, more acidic is better, slightly more acidic. Our gut flora likes that, our sauerkraut or whatever ferment that you make. The good bacteria grow because of the lactic acid producing bacteria. So when we have lactic acid and other acids in our stomach, that actually promotes and allows the growth of healthy bacteria and does not allow and even can kill the growth of abnormal bacteria or pathogenic bacteria. So we need acidity in most places almost all the time. Our blood is regulated at a very specific pH that only varies by a very small amount. Our blood is not our stomach. Our blood is not our skin, right? So the body needs the tools to be whatever acidity it needs to be. But in general, our gut needs to be acidic, and then the body can absorb those acids, those minerals, again, take the carbon dioxide oxygen balance. The more efficient we are at breathing, the more you calm your body, soothe a fever, help your lungs be more fed with fat, the better you're going to be able to bring your body into balance more quickly so your immune system can do the job that it's trying to do more quickly. So that was kind of a hopefully fun little discussion, just teaching you about acid and base and how it relates. The practical takeaway is if you are feeling like you're doing everything right, but it's still not working either in illness or in allergies, consider acidifying your body even a couple times a day, potentially. It might wear off, especially if you're breathing quickly, like with a fever. So acidify your body, see if that helps your immune system. I hope you had fun learning about this. Let me know what other questions you have or if you want to hear more specific topics about this idea or similar ideas. And I will see you in the next video when you come back for more tips or tricks about how to take care of your body.